right, so we are driving the Cades Cove Loop, and we talked to some people in the RV park the other day, and they said they were here last week and they saw 13 bear. We have seen 0. But we're only about 2 miles into the 11-mile loop.
And it's very slow right here at this point.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know if people are just going slow because we were going up that steep mountain, or they're looky-loos, which, I mean, I get it. Because I told Kevin the frustration of people stopping in the park, right? But if we saw a bear, would we not stop?
Yeah, of course.
That's the thing. So I get it. You just patience. We're going with our patience theme still. So that's what we're doing. We wanted to come and do the loop before we ride our bikes on it, just to kind of see. And so that's what we're doing.
So apparently starting next Wednesdays are vehicle free, and it's for bicycles only. So we are definitely gonna, if the weather holds up,
I don't know. I say even if it's a little bit rainy, we go.
I'm thinking the same
because
thing.
What we've learned from being here is certain parts will be rainy. Like they'll say, oh, you're going to get, all this rain, and then you barely get any, or it's raining here and not here. It's sprinkling. So I say we just try it unless it's like a downpour.
Yeah. I mean, there's some pretty good hills so far, but I think, with the e-bikes, I think we're going to be fine. We saw people already riding normal bikes.
Yeah.
Because apparently you can ride bikes any day. I just don't know how with all the traffic and all the cars. There's really not a bike lane or anywhere to go. Like if there was a bicycle behind me, they're not getting around me because this road is very narrow. We'll show you on some of our dash cam footage, but yeah, it's beautiful. And things I've read that this is the most popular area of the park because of all the wildlife in the area that you have an opportunity to see. So
we'll see.
We will see. All right, so for those of you guys that know the Cades Cove Loop, it gets pretty backed up, and we just saw a guy walking back. We've been sitting stationary for quite a while, barely moving. We're about 2 or 3 miles in, and one guy was walking back with his big monster camera, and I looked out the window and I asked him, I said, let me guess, there's a bear up there somewhere. And he goes, yeah, there's a few of them up there.
There were.
There were.
That's what he said.
Yeah. And traffic is pretty much not moving, which, hopefully traffic moves and then the bears come back out, because my biggest fear is that nobody moves until the bears leave, and then everybody behind doesn't get to see them. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. They told us where the bears were. So we're going to find out. Hopefully we do get to see the bears when we come up here. I don't know. All right. So officially, we just saw 2 or 3 bears.
3.
There was 3 of them, pretty sure.
All together.
The problem is that there's so much traffic, and I see both sides of it, but the rangers show up and they literally stand on the side of the road along the fence line and in front of the bears, and they shoo you along and don't really let you stop and get pictures or anything. And I even asked one of them, I'm like, dude, this is why we're here, trying to get pictures. But I see the other side of it, or else if they didn't do that, I'm sure traffic would be at a standstill for hours and hours and hours until the bears left. So
for sure,
I see both sides. Hopefully the little video I was able to take and zoom in on, hopefully that comes out. If not, we are going to come back next week on our bikes and try to get some either better footage as well. So we'll see. But officially, Larika and I have finally seen bears in the wild.
Though.
In the wild in real life.
But not much.
Not much.
They were
just laying
out there and we could barely see them.
They were just laying down.
Yeah, I liked when the one stood up, because then I could tell. At first I couldn't see it all because they were at the base of the tree.
Yeah.
So, and it was very far, and the rangers are yelling at you. Move,
Yeah.
And like Kevin said, we get both sides of it, but it is a little frustrating because you sit and you wait in this line, and then you have to keep going when you get to it. But if it weren't for them, the line would have never moved.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a catch-22. But it's just, this is why we're just going to come back on our bikes. And if we see bear, then we see bear. And we can be controlled. Lots of people park and get out of their cars and then just stand there by the rangers taking pictures and all that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I told Kevin the best scenario for anybody is that you're driving along and the bears happen to show up when you are there before the rangers. But then you're the person stopping all the traffic. So I don't know what the right answer is. But if you're the first person to see a bear within the first couple of people, you're going to stop. So that's just a reality.
Honestly, I think they should do it like they do meet and greets for concerts.
The bears are famous.
Yeah, get your 10, 15 seconds, get your picture, and then move on, rather than standing literally in the line of shot. But it is what it is. We'll keep on going and see what else we can find.
Okay, we just left Cades Cove, and all I kept thinking was about that scene in the movie Jurassic Park with Jeff Goldblum, where he's like, now there actually are dinosaurs on this. What does he say? Dinosaur. Whatever. Yeah, it made me laugh so hard. I love him in that.
Now, eventually, you do plan to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right? Hello? Hello?
And that's how it felt. We're like, are we going to see anything? And it's so crazy, like human expectation, right? So we go to this park where we've heard that there's so many bears and you see them all the time. And so you go in and you expect to see the bears. And gosh darn it, if you don't, it's almost like it's an attraction. No. And really it's Mother Nature, right? They have a mind of their own and they're going to come out when they want to, and they're not going to when they don't want to. So it's just funny how we go into things thinking that it should automatically happen because other people said it should. But we will tell you it did happen. So when we when we pulled up where the big traffic jam was, there were definitely bears, and they were way out in this field, and they were beneath a tree. You could barely make them out if you didn't know.
And with all the cars stopped, you figured pretty much
they had to be somewhere in the field.
But and the park rangers were there, and they were kind of directing people and not letting too many people stop. So it was pretty obvious there was bears out there. You really couldn't make them out. It just basically looked like one big blob of fur several hundred yards out in the field.
So then the second sighting, that was 3 in that sighting. The second sighting was way out in the field again, but that guy...
We were the first ones to see it.
Well, yes, in our traffic. People may have seen it and went on because it was still in the distance, but he was just grazing, or she, but a larger one, and just way out there again. So we watched that for a little bit, and then we moved along. And honestly, I think the best way to do it is take your turn and then move along. So anyway, then we saw, and they were kind of going across, and that was cool because I feel like that was even closer. And then as we were coming up on the end, which we didn't know it was the end of the cove, there were 4 right in front of us.
Like 20 yards off the side of the road.
Brian. No?
Can you believe we got these bears that close to us? Now, we are staying in the truck, engine running. If they come running, I could drop it and drive and get out of here. There's nobody in front of me. I'm a little nervous. Some of these people are literally standing 15, 20 feet away along the fence line. And
the bears do keep looking up.
They do. They keep looking. So I'm a little nervous for people, but I'm just going to stay where I'm at. Safety and wildlife.
Right here. That mama bear is looking. Look at her. They're all looking at those people, Kevin.
Yep.
You see that? Look at that. Kevin, they're moving. There they go. So they have 2 big ones and 2 littles. Is it a family? They're going into the woods.
Wow.
They're moving now.
I cannot believe those bears went through the fence right towards the people and nobody moved.
I thought they were going to charge the people. But I'm a little off on my...
Our depth perception. And then they shot across the street here and then went into the woods. But amazing. That makes 12 bears so far for us.
And the younger one went up on its hind legs, and we found a place to pull over. It would just, when it happens and it happens in front of you, it's such, I don't know, it's such a gift, because that doesn't always happen. We could have very well been the people way behind that, didn't get to see that, because then shortly after that, we watched for a good, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And shortly after that, all the bears, it was like they talked to each other and started to run across the road into the forest. So cool, so amazing. We finally got to see bears. And boy, did we get to see them, especially there at the end. So grateful. And we are super excited to come back on our bikes. So we may see nothing when we come back on our bikes, and we're okay with that now because we've seen the bears. Because I think the bike ride is going to be amazing. You know how we love our bike rides. And so can't wait.
Yep.
Definitely something to put on your list.
Can you hear that? Right down there. We were driving back from the grocery store, and all of a sudden the TPMS on the truck lit up, and I could see the tire pressure dropping dramatically, and we were only like 3 miles away. So with it being the second tire on the dually, I knew we'd make it back okay. So we stopped, and as soon as I turned off the engine and got out of the truck, I could hear it. And they're doing a lot of construction on that road, and it looks like we ran over a spike or something. So looks like I'm gonna be changing the tire and looking for a discount tire here in Pigeon Forge, and hopefully they can fix it, but I don't know. It's a pretty massive spike, so we'll see. All right, so tires changed. Not that big of a deal. Changing tires, obviously. The biggest issue is if you've got a newer vehicle like I do, 2022, and I've never had to change my own tire before, just because I've never had an issue. The biggest issue is trying to figure out where everything is and where's the latch to take down your spare tire, and where do they hide the tools behind the seat, and all that good stuff. So just be familiar with your vehicle. I don't even know if this truck comes with a jack. I carry around this 12-ton Touring bottle jack, and it works great. And I've used it for the truck, I've used it for the RV. 12 tons, yeah, you're gonna be good with just that, and it's nice and small. It fits in one of the compartments on the side of the RV. And that's it. So, you know, just figure all that out. Now it's time to look online and try to find a discount tire here in the immediate area to get this, hopefully get this tire fixed, and we'll see what happens. All right. It is a wet one here in Sevierville, Tennessee, in the Smoky Mountains. Big storm moved in early this morning, and apparently it's supposed to rain until tomorrow morning, with no end in sight. So yeah, and I am on my way into town, about 14 miles, to go get the tire fixed. Yesterday we had that flat tire, just showed you all that and everything, and I don't like riding around on the spare. I mean, it's a brand new spare, but still, as soon as I can get this thing fixed and get all the rest of the tires checked, I'm going to make sure that nothing else is in any of the other tires. Obviously I ran over something, so I want to make sure all the other tires are good, and we'll be set, because we're here another week. Yeah, it's just crazy, all this rain. We were supposed to go ride our bikes along the Cades Cove Loop Trail today, because on Wednesdays it is closed to vehicles and it's open to bicycles only. So we thought that would be a blast today, but Mother Nature had other plans, you know? So just go get this tire fixed and then go back to the rig and I don't know, watch some TV and hang out. Not a whole lot to do in the rain. That's all right. It's RV life. You pivot, you adapt, you overcome, and you do what you got to do, you know? So let's go Discount Tire. All right. So the Discount Tire in Sevierville that I went to is not a Discount Tire as you would expect. It is a little hole in the wall, dilapidated building. Looks like it's about to fall down. The sign says Sevierville's Discount Tire and Auto Repair. And I pull in to the little parking lot, and there is just old used tires thrown everywhere. Not a Discount Tire. So right up the street there was a Firestone Tire Center. I figured just bring it in there maybe, and hopefully they can fix the tire. They could not. The hole, they said, was too big and the tire was not fixable. So instead of buying a brand new tire from them, I am now driving the 30 miles to a couple towns over to a real Discount Tire, because I bought these tires at discount, and like I said, I am only about at the halfway point of the mileage warranty, so hopefully it will only cost me a fraction of what it would have cost somewhere else, or a complete replacement. I'm not sure. I know what they're going to say. Most of the times they're going to want you to buy 2 tires to make it even, and then they'll flip them all around and put new tires on certain wheels and whatever. I trust Discount Tire. I always have. So I am just going to go there, and unfortunately it's looking like I'm going to spend a couple dollars on at least 1 tire, more than likely 2 new tires. So it is what it is, but that's part of our RV life, right? One thing we always talk about, not just us, but a lot of other YouTube and everything else, is, you know, you got to be able to afford the things in this life when they come up. You got to be able to take care of your maintenance, your repairs, the weird things that pop up, like we were in a hotel for 3 weeks. Wasn't fun, but fortunately we were able to swing that and make that work, and we were able to pay for that. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Saving grace is the RV and the truck are both paid for, so it's not like I'm making payments on anything. So if once a year or so, once every couple of years, you got to throw money into your RV and your tow vehicle, so be it. Cheaper than payments, and it's the peace of mind knowing that everything is right and everything is the way it is. So there you go. All right, a couple hours in Discount Tire and a little over $500. Yeah, the tire was not fixable. They just took one look at it with the size of the piece of metal stuck in there, and he's like, not even a chance. And like I thought, they did highly suggest, due to the fact that these tires were already 2 years old, replace 2 of them so they can balance them out and everything else. So what they did was they put the 2 new tires on the rear outside. Then they took the 2 front tires and put them on the rear inside dually. And then they took the 2 best tires from the back that were left, and then they put those on the front. That's how they do it. They want the best tires in the back, because obviously rear wheel drive and everything else. He said that's the recommended way they do it. Took care of my spare, took care of all that, reset all the sensors. Yeah, you know, highly recommend Discount Tire. I know they're not in every state, but if you have a Discount Tire somewhere where you are, highly recommend them. I just walked in, and I mean, it took 2.5 hours probably, but I will take it. There was a restaurant next door, a couple restaurants next door. I ran next door, ate some lunch, watched some Sports Center up on the TV in the restaurant. You know, killed an hour or so there, and that's it. Now the, what does it say? 30-minute drive back in the rain in Tennessee. So, hey, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do for your vehicles. You know, it's one of those things. You can't ignore it. You can't, you know, wishful thinking. So, you know, if it needs to be fixed, it needs to be fixed. So there you go. Another fun day of real life RV life. So. All right, so we are in an area called Daisy Town, which, looking at some of the signs, that in the early 1900s, it was a resort area here in the Smoky Mountain National Park.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a little bit like going through model homes, but they're really old. Like you walk into each one and it's a different layout.
Yeah.
Really cool though. The
Yeah.
floors creak and you see a bunch of really cool like chimneys and made out of stone and brick, and I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. How's this for an epic porch?
It's a pretty good porch. Needs a few rockers.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cute.
A lot of these houses have been remodeled a few times over the years, and you can tell. We went into one, there was looked like a new stainless steel sink in it, and some more modern appliances like some toilets and bathroom fixtures, but it still has the same original wood walls. It doesn't feel like there's any insulation in them because it's so cold inside, and all the walls are very cold to the touch, and it's almost 80 degrees outside, so it definitely keeps the cold in. But it's really cool checking all these places out.
I will tell you, my children and their wife and fiancés would not appreciate the size of these homes.
No. I think they made people smaller back in the day.
Probably.
Not a bad looking backyard off the porch of a lot of these houses. And again, I think it's almost like they were like vacation rentals or something to that
Like
effect.
Dirty Dancing. She
Yes.
carried a watermelon.
I carried a watermelon. I carried a watermelon.
Oh,
When they were all at
geez.
the camp. That's what it reminds me of, the little houses.
But yeah, imagine you rent one of these places because it's supposed to be like a little resorty, and you come outside and this is what you see.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.